Minion in. It was a long night streaming when the update dropped. I love discovering the new additions together with you guys, and I look forward to next time on Twitch. The fall update is upon us, or has started being upon us. Bless Unleashed announcements are famous for being weirdly worded, forcing us to speculate on their actual meaning. Keeping in with that tradition, Bless Unleashed tweeted, "Maintenance is being performed to start the fall update content." And it's the word start that makes me wonder, is this the entire update? Is this the start of a series of updates that will be rolling out over the month? I don't know. That's not the first time we've had reason to suspect that the October 8th update is not the entire fall update. There may be more to come. There may also be not. I asked directly in response to that tweet and got nothing. In any case, you can't have an update without me bludgeoning the community with my unsolicited opinions, and that's why I'm here. Now, I should mention that I tried my very hardest not to be excited about this update, because most of it is technically fixes that should have happened ages ago and features that the game was broken without and are overdue. Add to that the general disgruntlement all of us Bless Unleashed preferred content creators are feeling right now for having been completely ignored for the last 2 months. And my inclination towards the update was to be more cynical than approving, and it may be that I'm a little extra critical of the update because of it. But I have to admit, experiencing the changes in person was awesome. The original announcements did say that this update would entail mostly quality of life changes, and if you remembered my video at the time, I predicted nothing earth-shattering was to be expected. As it turns out, my earth was a little shattered. Also, I got to stream for the first time with Twitch drops enabled, which I had been begging for forever. And those will last a few more days, so keep your eyes on Twitch for free stuff and a chance at the Twitch Axe Peak mount. Let's do this.
Come for the game, stay for the commentary.
Nothing but a seat then, baby.
I've been playing pretty much non-stop since the update. Honestly, I think patch is the more fitting term here, because an update leads you to believe that there is actual new content. And there is some, but mostly the fall update appears to be tweaks and fixes. There is a new arena. I don't count Abyssals as new content, because they're not. They're already existing dungeons with a higher difficulty setting. Moving on. Probably the most exciting part about the fall update patch is that when Common Enhancer breaks an item, it no longer loses enchantment, meaning you can't backslide while enhancing anymore. This is great because on more than one occasion, I know that I and many others have spent hundreds of star seeds only to break even at the end of the day with no change to gear score whatsoever. Here's my issue though, that this is the best thing about the update does leave me a little concerned because it's not a new feature. It's a long overdue fix to a design flaw that should have been repaired months ago. However, enhancing and actually raising your gear score instead of lowering it does feel amazing. On the downside, when the Common Enhancer fails now, even if you're going from 0 to +1, your gear will absolutely 100% guaranteed break. You won't lose enchantment, but you'll need a repair kit every single time. This is already being reflected in the prices of blue repair kits on the player market. They are skyrocketing. And I'm fully expecting devs to lift the restriction on how many of those you can buy in the time-limited merchant. So if you're going to make money selling them, this is the time to do it. To balance this out, the unlicensed enhancer no longer requires any items at all. All you need is some gold and cores to go fail stacking. If you don't know what fail stacking is, check out this handy guide by clicking on the card in the corner. Like I said, this is an overdue fix, so hyping the update with, "We fixed this broken thing really late, how cool are we?" leaves me a little unhyped. Yes, it's great. Also, you made us beg and agonize and wait for it for ages, and that's not so great. Being excited about it now feels a little like Stockholm Syndrome. So while the Common Enhancer leaves me wanting, the new unlicensed enhancer has me hopeful. But I do want to point out that while fail stacking is extremely helpful, it is a symptom of a broken enhancement system and should not be necessary at all. If it's going to be an accepted and common feature, and it looks like that's where devs are going with this, there needs to be some kind of in-game tutorial quest to make it official, or fix the common and master enhancer to make enhancement achievable without loopholes and trickery. I checked out the new arena to fight Stormbringer. I love the name, by the way. I'm a huge fan of the Elric saga. Stormbringer is basically two-man Scanus, so there's a little rehashing going on there, but that doesn't mean that the arena's not fun. Like Pagar Champion, or as I refer to him, Bowser, when he was new, Stormbringer provides a new challenge. I had fun learning and fighting this guy. The blessing changes have me very happy. You can now change blessings at Soul Pyres for 100 star seeds. No longer will I start CT with the words, "Shit, I forgot to bring Leap." You can now also put skill points into blessings you don't have equipped, so you can level them before you equip them. I feel about this like I felt about the Common Enhancer fix. This is a fix to an existing design flaw, and it is super late. Love it, but not too excited about it at this point. The appropriate response at this point seems to be less "thank you" and more "what took you so long?" Still, it's great to finally have that extra convenience. Union Teleposts. When I first read about this, I was like, why? It's bad enough the city teleposts are cluttering up the world now, and I'm constantly using the wrong one when I'm trying to go somewhere. And I play on Xbox One S. That means when I use a city telepost, I'm actually losing time. Instead of riding somewhere for 30 seconds, I have to stare at a loading screen for over a minute. But I am happy to say that Union teleposts are different and better. Instead of porting from one post to another, Union teleposts exist only in your Union headquarters, allowing you to teleport directly to them from anywhere in the world by spending a couple of Union points. There are new NPCs in your headquarters that will explain this to you. This is convenient and a good thing. I still won't be using them because the only reason to visit your headquarters is to pick up your Union boon. And more than likely, you're gonna get a useless one, so you tend not to bother. A boon that gives you faster gathering speed or faster health regen at a Soul Pyre is a waste of time. So I very rarely go to my Union headquarters. When they fix boons to have a higher chance of being something actually useful, these teleposts are going to come in super handy though. Another positive change. What so many of you thought for some reason was going to be an ancient chest reset or a shuffling of existing locations, by the way, why would you think that? Was what I suspected. Apparently broken chests have finally been fixed. Now I haven't checked the ones in Eidolon and Ostium yet, but I can confirm that the broken chest in Beoron is no longer there. Instead, I found an ancient chest I'd never seen before very nearby on the riverbank. So I have to assume that the chests that were previously unreachable are now accessible. German and French language support, you guys. I know most of you don't care, but this is awesome because I live in Germany and I couldn't get any of my German friends to play because they not talk the English so good. Germans love MMOs, and this should really help the population on Teleos. One word of advice though, Germans also highly value voice acting and tend to consider games without German voice acting to be cheap or lazy. I highly recommend investing in some actors. At the end of dungeon runs, there's now an ending layout that gives statistics and ranks on performance. I was really worried when I read about this because it had every potential to fuel the already festering elitism problem that is present in the Bless Unleashed community. But I am glad to say that they did this right. A dungeon ranks your entire group, not individual members, so there's little possibility for shaming if your DPS isn't up to scratch. The dungeon rank system encourages you to work as a team, and that was definitely a good call. I do have to say though that while I am relieved that everyone's DPS isn't up for public display to everyone else, we are a little disappointed that we don't at least get to see our own DPS. We're so curious to see how high our DPS actually is. It would be amazing. Please, in a future update sometime, give us like a combat dummy for our estate or anything that we can hit for 30 seconds and then it tells us what our DPS is. I was not able to confirm the update note gear score requirements on the quest board because none of us had any idea what that means. There's no references to gear score in the quest log, the quest tracker, or on Union quest boards, and I can't imagine what else quest board could be. So honestly, I have no idea what this is, what to look for, or how it benefits us. The ring menu for quick slot assignments. This is the greatest thing ever! I can't stress how much I love the new radial menu. To activate it, go into your settings, choose gameplay, then change item use type to ring menu. Spend a little time configuring it, and fair warning, until you get used to it, you will accidentally drink some potions. My advice is to leave one slot on each ring empty, because you can't close the ring once you've opened it without selecting one of the slots. And if there's an item in that slot, you're going to use that slot. Trust me, leave one empty until they do a fix sometime in the future that lets you close the radial menu, maybe by pressing B. Here's one that has tons of panties in a bunch. The infamous Invasion Nerf. Invasion bosses now have respawn times of 2 minutes. In addition, they now only give 1/10 experience, and that goes for all invasion monsters. So say goodbye to XP farming during invasions. It's probably pointless now. I have thoughts. Are you surprised? Because if you are, you don't know me very well. I did a guide on invasions a little while ago, and you can click on this card to see that. With endgamers having run out of PvE content, invasions were the last refuge to offer any hope of seeing new levels above 40 within our lifetime. Sadly, this has caused a kind of schism and more than a little toxicity, because a number of people were using bullying tactics in attempts to make everyone conform to a certain way of doing things. Threats and hurt feelings all around, you guys. Now you can blame the devs for this change, but you'd be wrong. The devs implemented this nerf/fix in order to curb the toxicity the situation was causing. So if you want to blame anyone for taking away your invasion XP, blame the people who acted like bullies, who threatened icebreakers with kill on sight and had tantrums in global chat about it. You ruined it for yourselves and everyone else, and now you have to live with it. Believe it or not, devs don't like us acting like douchebags in their game, and frequently implement systems to discourage that kind of behavior. Devs had to do something. You forced this. That being said, devs, what the hell? You can't have it both ways. On one hand, you're all, we don't have enough players, so now you only have 2 channels. And on the other hand, you're taking away a lot of people's incentive to participate in open world cooperative activities. This is going to result, very likely, in more field boss PKs and bored people trash talking in global. But most importantly, and I hate to have to keep reminding everyone of this, but do you remember my video a while back about problems the game was having months ago? This card here. Where I said, this is your player base, a bunch of assholes standing around waiting for nothing to happen. If you make a change that results in all the people who were previously doing invasions because they had nothing else to do for XP no longer doing invasions, then invasions will take so much longer to trigger. Especially since you haven't compensated for the lack of channels by making field bosses spawn faster. And invasions will be much harder to complete because less endgamers are participating. When was the last time you guys did a timeless jungle invasion? The quest seems to always be available, but I'd pretty much have to solo it if I wanted to get it done. Since the update, I've spoken with multiple other endgamers who told me that they haven't bothered doing an invasion since the update, and it's very unlikely that they ever will. Why you not think before you dev, Patrick? What you should have done, instead of limiting spawn rates and invasion XP, was set a cap on how many bosses spawn during invasions. If an invasion calls for 6 dead bosses, have only 6 bosses spawn and no more. This would have forced invasion goers to perform the other required activities. People would still come for the XP of at least a handful of bosses, and icebreakers wouldn't catch hell in global anymore. Here's another cool change that gets my thumbs up. Even when no Blessed Pass season is active, you'll be able to pick up your daily login rewards now, because those have been moved to the new Attendance tab in the bottom right of your menu. And finally, the thing that I've actually been the most excited about, you can now zoom your camera farther out. To me, that's the biggest game changer of the entire fall patch. I'm psyched they finally got around to giving us this essential feature. Having the camera zoomed out to max feels great, I can't lie.
From up here you all look like little ants.
Overall, this patch makes a good impression. It definitely lacks any actual new content, but if the wording on the Bless Unleashed Twitter is to be believed, we've got more updates coming this fall. Maybe that means rolling out another patch this month, maybe it's referring to the introduction of Ivory Dunes, which is planned to drop in November, maybe it's just poor phrasing and it doesn't mean anything. We'll just have to see. Now go be freaking heroes. Minion out.